Alright, so this is how my brother and I do Maul jump runs. Let's get into it here. So starting at the bat here, as soon as you zone in, you want to run in. I throw a hot on him. You want to dodge that pat, otherwise you have to wait for him. Jump down to this rock here. You can heal up your tank if you need to. Here I notice that there's a dream foil that can spawn back in this corner, so we're going to go pick that up. So I'm going to be giving sort of a play-by-play on this to explain sort of the reasoning of why we do what we do on this. It should be pretty doable with pretty much any tank and any healer. It's easier if you have a shaman healer, but here we see, I'm druid and I can do it just fine. I'll also talk about we've changed a little bit our strategy on this. So on this run, I think that we go through and we both use dynamite on the last boss, but I've since respec into enchanting so that we can get some more gold from these runs. So here you see this big lasher is really obnoxious to try and kill. They have a lot of health and it takes a little while, but I also went into it pretty so takes a little bit, but the price of dream foil on our server right now is pretty worth coming over here to pick this up. A couple of a minute or two for a couple of gold potentially is pretty good. So finish this guy off, and then my brother's gonna run around on the other side. There's 2 book spawns that you can look for here on this lower section. So we'll get into that here in just a second. I'll show you where they are. A couple dream foil there, nice. The lashes do drop some different herbs that you can potentially want as well. So they can drop ghost mushrooms or dream foil or grom's blood, or there's a couple of different herbs that they can have. Heart of the Wild is less valuable, but still useful. Drinking up here, I'm gonna run around the corner. Here we go. So the hardest boss, the first boss in this run is pretty trivial. You only have to do 3 bosses: Hydra spawn, and then the sacrifice boss to open the door, and then Alzin at the end to get to the 2 or 3 rich thorium nodes, which is pretty nice. Come down here. You can get a dream foil that spawns off to the left here. It's possible. You can also get this grom's blood, which spawns right in front of it. So where I'm circling right there, that's where the first book can spawn. See that there's a dream foil in the back corner over there that I'm gonna spy and go. I almost got caught by this pat. I could have snuck by them, but I was just being super cautious. So some of these things you can only really get if you're a stealth class. So druid is good for getting some of these extra spawns, or it's just more obnoxious to run across and get them if you're not stealth, because the save points are obviously harder to get into if you can't go stealth. So I think that my brother is going up and killing the first of the patrols that we have to deal with here. While I pick this up, this, there we go. Going on in. So there's a demon that patrols here. You need to kill him, otherwise he'll interrupt your fight with Hydra spawn. They're also really nice because you can get demonic runes off of them, felt cloth, some good stuff, as well as they have chances to drop greens, obviously. So they're also really good for. I think we did it here. Yeah, I think that he stacked up some rage, so you can go right into Hydra spawn with rage, which is nice. We fight Hydra spawn on this side corner here. It makes it so that you're less susceptible to getting knocked into other other packs on the sides and stuff like that, we found that the margin for error over here is basically 0. So he just pops in the corner there, so if he gets knocked back, he just gets knocked into the corner, has basically 0 airtime. So something that you want to keep track of here is, as the healer, I mean, if you have a full prot or fury prot warrior or anything like that, you can they'll be able to survive this for a long time. You can DPS as a healer as long as you just make sure that you're always going to have enough mana to keep topping them off. Your top priority is just making sure that they're topped off. I just want also puts a debuff on them, so it reduces their max health. So just something to be aware of. Hydrospawn gets low here and spawns the 2 Hydrolings. Just kill those really quick. I use a quick Moonfire on both of them to kill them. They have really low health, but they interrupt your spellcasts. It's super annoying. So this one's really simple, really easy. There we go. So the reason that I respec'd into enchanting is you can disenchant those to get the greater essences, which is, you know, right now on our server they're worth like 7.5 gold or something like that. So you can turn that 1 gold item into 7 potentially, which is really great. So I switched to enchanting, and when I did that, we're doing, you know, for every 6 or 7 runs we're making 100 some odd gold. Give or take, depending on how we sell stuff, how lucky we get on the spawns and stuff like that. We are able to run this depending on how many herbs we get and how obnoxious they are to get at. We can run this in about 13 to 17 minutes, basically, depending on those herbs and stuff. And also the second boss has a huge window for the amount of time that it can take if you have resists or blocks, which I'll show you in just a second. What I would ideally be doing here is I would have drank water before we got into this fight, because right now you see my brother has full rage, but I don't have very much mana, so we're gonna burn some of his rage. Got the ghost mushroom spawn in that back corner, which is nice. So we're gonna burn some of his rage as we sit here for me to drink, which is not good. This fight is really about a little bit of luck, and on the healer's part, it's you have to be really paying close attention. So if you can go into this with rage, it'll just make your life a lot easier. So here we go. We're gonna go in. So basically what we want to do is we want the tank to tank the boss right over there next to the altar. And we see as soon as he starts to cast sacrifice, I duck behind the pillar here. So I will LOS the boss. So if the boss is attempting to sacrifice me, it'll actually cancel the cast. So now we see that the tank got targeted for the sacrifice, and he didn't resist it, so he got put on the pillar. But it's really not that big of a deal. Usually, if you saw, I'll do it again here and just see. So then I just ducked in and blocked that sacrifice, which is great. He gets sacrificed here, which again is fine. As soon as I heal, I'm probably going to pick up tank aggro, and then I go and I jump back on this ledge. The reason for that is you see that the boss actually turns around, and he will move all the way to the other end of this room to try and come around and get up on this ledge. So it gives a lot more time for your tank to get off the pillar and for you to be able to them to pick up the boss and get in position again. So here we're just waiting for the sacrifices. We really need to resist or block several sacrifices in a row for this fight, but it's just, you know, it takes some time. I think we got really unlucky on this. I know that in here my tank has been bringing in some shadow resist gear, so the fact that he's not resisted at all is pretty unlucky. I think I have to pop innervate here in just a second. but this is the most challenging part of this dungeon, in my opinion. The last boss is not that bad. Here you can see that I'm just playing him back and forth to get him in position for my tank. And look, we've been fighting for, I don't know, like 5 minutes, and we've only got him to half health because we've gotten so unlucky with the sacrifices. But it's not that big of a deal because we can basically fight forever. There we go, we got a resist. 2 resists in a row, which is great. Tank will be popping his cooldowns here to try and get him into execute. Once he's in execute, he basically just melts. I'm still trying to conserve my mana a little bit, but I throw a couple of Starfires out there to try and get him low, and then he's just dead. So that's a blue, so that would give us a large brill if we disenchanted that, which is worth about 2, maybe 3 times as much as the value of that item. So again, you're doubling or tripling your gold there, which is awesome. Run over here, don't forget to pick this ghost mushroom. Like I said, I skip it initially because we want to make sure that the tank has rage going into that fight. So stand here, you can pick it without aggroing any of the mobs, run back and jump off. Then there's a whole lot of running here that we have to do, so sort of talk through the last fight a little bit. I'll talk about this. So we do have to kill this Zevram is his name. We have to kill this guy so that we can talk to the big tree in the middle of the garden to unlock the door or break down the door. So he'll go over and he'll break down the door, and that's how we get to the last boss. We only have to kill those 3 bosses to do this jump run. And here I'll show you where the second of the books. Well, I think technically a book spawn can spawn up where Zevram is, but we've never seen it in 200 runs. There's another spawn right up here. That's right behind this warp wood pod, as you can see right there. It's dark there, so it's hard to see the books, but they're this red book, it says Dusty Tome. We have heard that there's a bug where if you have Kelsarar, that you won't be able to actually see Forest Compendium in there. So just something to be aware of, that if you do have your tank has Kelsarar, which mine does, then you want to make sure that you're the one that opens the Dusty Tomes, otherwise it'll just look like it's empty. Run on through here. So on this this last boss, before we get to the end, to the 2 or 3 rich thorium veins, he spawns waves of imps after he gets to 50% health. So what you want to do is take it as slowly as you need to get him to 50%, and then burst him down. So we jump up on this ledge. If you jump right off of the edge right here, then you'll land down on the green thing here, take less fall damage. Jump down onto the ledge over here, get healed up and buffed up, ready for this next fight. There's a couple of different ways that you can do this boss fight. So what we've been doing is just trying to LOS the boss on this pillar that's right in front of us, so that he doesn't get enervate on me. So that's our most recent strategy. If you see this dark square of ground right in front of us here on the left side there, that's actually a reset point. So if something goes really wrong and you're up there, then the boss will reset. So you want to make sure that you avoid that spot. So here we're able to LOS the enervate on this pillar, heal the tank from where we're at, and it's just sort of a grind to get him down. The last book spawn is down here. I'll show you where it spawns here in just a second once we finish the boss. So yeah, the wall that's right behind me is going to break down, and there's going to be imps that spawn when the boss gets to 50%. And that's why it's handy to have... Oh, I got hit by enervate there. it's handy to have someone who's engineering to do dynamite on them. My tank also has the force reactive disc, so it's pretty good. But there is a strategy for not killing the imps, so I'll talk about that when they come in. When this boss is in dog form, he does more damage. When he's in humanoid form, he casts Enervate, which will seep your mana, so you want to make sure that you can get rid of that. When he's in tree form, he can heal himself and do a knockback. So here we see we're trying to burn down the boss. He's in tree form, so he has more armor. He doesn't take as much damage, so it takes a little bit more time to kill him here. And I think that I had to use Innervate on the last boss, so I don't have it up here. I end up having to take a mana potion, but it's not that big of a deal. So he's close. Okay, there we go. And see, the second wave of imps spawns here, and I just throw out the dynamite. What you can do is you can not kill all of the imps, and if you don't kill all the imps, then it'll take longer for them to spawn. It'll be kind of obnoxious, but yeah, so that's where the last bug can spawn, right there in the corner. It'll be a little bit obnoxious because they'll be doing knockback to you when you're trying to cast, but it'll give you a little bit more time before the next wave spawns. Here we're getting, you can get 2 to 3 rich thorium veins on this, which is pretty great. I mean, especially with as many people as are not playing right now, or not working right now. So a lot of people are playing at all times a day. It's nice to be able to get the rich thorium veins all to yourself in here, as well as the herbs, because fighting 20 other people for herbs in a zone is super obnoxious. So that's how we do this. We can get through this in about, like I said, 12 to 15 minutes. And if you're enchanting, then you can disenchant all those greens and blues to get a lot more gold. So we're trying to get the 100 crystals for Thunder Fury. So when my brother gets his other binding, we'll be able to get it. So yeah, this is how we do it. This is how we do jump runs. So thanks for watching.